Yes.
The city attorney has arrived, so we can start the meeting.
Please rise for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here.
Present.
Scott.
Here.
Wilczewski.
Here.
Readers.
Here.
Mccasker.
Here.
Spears.
Here and present.
Tealing.
Here.
Quorum is established.
Okay, do we have any amendments to tonight's agenda? Yes, ma'am.
I was hoping that we can move up CC 2015-32, the license agreement, to like after minutes. Perhaps.
Oh, all the way down on Park Board you're talking about.
Yeah.
That one
After
up?
Bill's,
Okay. Hold up, Boyd. Is Boyd here for, there's when we moved that up too, but he's not here. Okay, is that the only amendment? All in favor of amending the agenda as proposed, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have no more presentations this evening, no public hearings. Do we have any citizen comments on items that are on the agenda this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Wilczewski.
Nay.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Readers.
Aye.
Mccasker.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Tealing.
aye.
Scott.
Aye. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular city council meetings of March 10th, 2015 and March 24th, 2015 as presented.
Second.
Any comments, questions, corrections on the minutes? Alrighty, all those in favor of passing the minutes as presented, please state aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, and then we will go to Park Board. I will entertain a motion to approve an ordinance approving a license agreement by and between the United City of Yorkville and Ginger and Soul Incorporated.
So
And authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Tealing and seconded by
What's going on tonight?
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Readers.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Mccasker.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Tealing.
aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
All righty, Rachel, we're excited to have you down there.
Thank you.
I'll clap on that.
Okay, it is a proclamation for Rain Barrel Month. It is pretty lengthy, so it'll be in the packet if anyone wants to read it. Suffice it to say that I do hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 as Rain Barrel Promotion Month in the United City of Yorkville. Okay, I have a couple of appointments. The Zoning Board of Appeals. I'll entertain a motion to approve the mayor's appointments of Alejandro Hernandez to the Zoning Board of Appeals to serve a term expiring on April 30th, 2016, and Jeff Olson to the Zoning Board of Appeals to serve a term expiring April 30th, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments on these appointments? Roll call, please.
Readers.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Mccasker.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Tealing.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of Regan Flavin Goins as chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved. Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Spears.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Mccasker.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Tealing.
Aye.
Coe.
next is Public Works Committee report, and I will turn it over to Alderman Thielen.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to concur with preliminary cost estimate and maintenance responsibilities as presented by IDOT in the letter to the city dated March 6, 2015, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the letter.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Colosimo,
Aye.
Bunkhauser,
Aye.
Olszewski,
Aye.
Teeling,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Cott,
Aye.
Reuters,
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, and I'd like to make a motion to authorize staff to send letters to surrounding property owners notifying them of the proposal to restrict parking on the west side of Winterberry Drive, just south of Jackson Road, at all times, and notifying them that the item will be discussed at an upcoming meeting.
Second. Comments or questions on parking restrictions? Roll call.
Bunkhauser,
Aye.
Olszewski,
Aye.
Teeling,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Cott,
Aye.
Reuters,
Aye.
Spears,
Aye.
Colosimo.
Aye.
We jumped over to Road to Better Roads. Do we have an update for Road to Better Roads?
Yeah, there isn't a motion in the packet. There is a 5-year plan that's at the end of the PowerPoint presentation that's included in your packet. We are asking for some concurrence with that plan. The fiscal year 16, so that's this summer, programs are already kind of in motion. And after that, really, it's going to be a reauthorization each year as part of the budget process anyway. But if anybody had any particular concerns about the 5-year schedule or had questions for staff, obviously, we will engage.
I know in Public Works we talked about it, but I can't remember the answer. Is when we did the original road study, there was a certain time frame that we had to redo it. When is that?
Well, we did an update on the scores and our recommendation for this year's 5-year Road to Better Roads plan based on work that we've already completed and then just the staff analysis. The actual full re-study with the LiDAR analysis, that's the radar-based truck system, probably another 5 years from now.
Thanks.
Anything else on Road to Better Roads? Yes.
One thing, when we see these plans come through, can we have the score and the ranking associated with them? It would be helpful. I know that there are other variables that go into them, but it would be helpful to see where they stand in the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else? I'll turn it over to Alderman Cope for Economic Development Committee report.
Okay, first item, I need a motion to approve an ordinance approving a redevelopment agreement for the downtown Yorkville redevelopment project area at 226 South Bridge Street and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Teeling,
Aye.
Vogt,
Aye.
Cott,
Aye.
Reuters,
Aye.
Spears,
Aye.
Colosimo,
Aye.
Bunkhauser,
Aye.
Olszewski.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And
I think on this next one,
We're gonna
staff is
table.
looking for a motion to table.
Yes.
Are we? Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what the staff asked for.
Why don't we make a motion second, we can discuss it, and then make a motion to table.
A motion to approve an ordinance approving the third amendment to the annexation agreement of Yorkville Farms Development, parentheses, Prestwick of Yorkville subdivision, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
Do we have a second? Second. Comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Well, my only concern is how long are we going to let this keep going on? I mean, we're reaching out to these people and they're not reaching back to us. I think we've done our due diligence here. Our staff has done their due diligence. We've been more than flexible on this issue. I'm starting to get annoyed and concerned, to be quite frank. So another option is to vote on it and vote no and ask for our money. I mean, that's option number 2. I mean, what has been done and why are we not hearing back? And this has nothing to do with staff. You guys are doing what you're supposed to do.
Understood. We actually have heard back from the developer since the last meeting. The request at the last meeting was to draft some sort of language to deal with an early payment, basically upon sale of land. So at a staff level, we were trying to come up with different procedures, and language to insert that into the agreement that would basically put the responsibility on the developer to notify us, and if they didn't notify us that they had sold land and paid early, then it would be then punitive. That way it's not putting the burden on staff to track it. Couldn't come up with really any good process or language to insert in it, so that was going to be our recommendation, was to just say no to that specific provision, and then, if the council didn't feel that the 3-year was acceptable, to vote it down at that point. And then at that point, the developer said, they were going to try to draft some language. They understood our concerns, and they would try to come back in 2 weeks. But at that point, when we got into the into the weeds with the different discussions with the developer, and then at the staff level, it was 3 to 4 days before packet creation. So we didn't think that was enough time really to formally shoot it down, even though we were having some trouble with the concept already.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And as follow-up on that, is it safe to assume that we'll have something to vote on at the next meeting?
Yeah, I would say it's a long shot that we're going to have a procedure in place that accomplishes what we had talked about at the last meeting, that doesn't put a significant burden on the city to track the issue and then administer it in court if necessary. So I think that that's probably unlikely to occur, and so my guess is that we'll be back in front of you probably with the agreement that's here to just do it for 3 years as a delay. And if that's not acceptable, it's, then we're back at square one with the developer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why don't we just cut to the chase and do that tonight and skip some meetings?
You could, and we were just hoping to exhaust every possible opportunity with, giving them the responsibility and the opportunity to draft their own language to accomplish our goals.
I mean, I thought we were actually going to turn this over to their attorney to draft it initially. That was my.
Well,
if you
let's
could-
keep going. We got into more and more complications. Yes, we're going to turn it over to their attorney, which obviously was never acceptable to me. And of course, the language did not come out clear. And then we discovered that the likelihood of selling it off lot by lot is far less likely because of the infrastructure requirements to complete, so that we went back to the attorney and said, no, it has to be either by sections or in some way to protect us from leaving infrastructure left to lot holders, lot owners, potential purchasers. So we did expend a lot of time going back and forth, and while I totally understand the point of view of the city council, to give them one more shot, I don't think hurts us necessarily. And I think it demonstrates to the world that this city is ready, willing, and able to cooperate, but only when we get some cooperation in return. And that's why we've suggested, all right, give you another 2 weeks. Come up with something else, but this is in.
And so with that, I think if, at the end of the 2 weeks, if there's no language, it comes back before us with the 3-year, but I don't think that the 3 year is going to pass, so they are apprised of that. I know when I talked to the petitioner, they knew that. Okay.
I'll move to table this to the next city council meeting.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Coe,
Aye.
Cott,
Aye.
Frieders,
All right.
Spears,
Aye.
Colosimo,
Aye.
Funkasser,
Aye.
Olszewski,
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
No public safety committee report. Alderman Spears, would you like to take admin committee report? You make a motion, or-
I really am not prepared.
It's the EEI hourly rates. I'll entertain a motion to approve Engineering Enterprises, Inc. hourly rates as specified in the 2015 standard schedule of charges effective as of May 1st, 2015.
So moved.
Moved by Jackie, seconded by Alderman Coe. Comments or questions on EEI hourly rates? Roll call, please.
Pat,
Aye.
Raiders,
Aye.
Scares,
Aye.
Philipson,
Aye.
Funkadzer,
Aye.
Olszewski,
Aye.
Teeling. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, no plan commission, ZBA, city council, any clerk's report, community and liaison reports. Yes, sir.
Just one. AACVB, the search committee has made an offer to a candidate, and we should have a candidate starting here at the beginning of the month, or a week after, depending on the timing to move in. But selection process is done, candidate is selected, so.
Okay, sky's the limit now, huh?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any other community and liaison reports? Staff reports?
No reports.
Okay, moving on to mayor's reports. A motion to approve an ordinance approving the 2015-2016 fiscal budget, incorporating budget adjustments number 1 through number 8, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute. So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments on the budget? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I support the budget. The only question I had was the number 8, building budget adjustment for this. If we're going to put the bill program out for December, I thought at the EDC meeting we talked about taking that from the general fund. And I know our listener will brought that idea up. It sounds like we're not doing that here.
Yeah, it was definitely discussed. I don't think there was clear direction given that was that's what you wanted to do. That's something that, you know, if that's the direction of the city council, that can be easily accomplished via, I don't know if an amendment tonight would be warranted necessarily from a timing perspective. We could always do it later. And then really you'd probably pair that with the overall discussion on the program as to what you wanted to do when you expand it, or extend it, excuse me.
Larry, do you have a question?
Just on the build program now, we're going to extend it to the end of the calendar year, but we're still going to have discussion about the future beyond that point, correct? That's going to be at EDC or?
Yeah, it's whatever committee you think is most appropriate, and it is in the it's in the budget until December. So the assumption is shown from a revenue perspective that it's it's in the budget, but the actual ordinance would still have to be approved by council before the end of the program in June to extend it through December.
Do you want Carlo to kind of summarize where that 70,000 was for the water fees?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've always voted against the build program, and I understand after speaking with the builders why the current termination date was not acceptable, June 31st. I understand that they have contracts in the pipe, they have, it's the middle of the building season in the summer, and I understand that. So even though I don't support the program, I understand their predicament and would have supported it, continued it to December 31st, and that's what I said in EDC. The question becomes, we're also sure that the program is going to provide new revenue. However, the burden is shifted onto basically the water bills is basically where this money would be coming from. And my argument in EDC was simply, if we're so sure that it's coming from, that the program is going to produce new revenues, instead of asking the taxpayers to pay for it through their water bill, we already have the taxpayers' money in the general fund. We've already asked them for it, they've already given it to us, and we're sitting on it. So why ask for more? Let's put our money where our mouths are, and if we're so sure about the program, let's take the $70,000 from the general fund. And I know that's not something we like to do. We don't like to touch the general fund. It's a rainy day fund, and that's what it's there for, and it helps with our bond rating, and I understand all that. But at the end of the day, it's taxpayer money. So if we're going to put up taxpayer money, instead of asking for more, let's use some that we already have. And that was the basis of my argument. And that's something that we can still do, and I think that argument is left for another day when we talk about the build program. And I know that we can amend this to accordingly to whatever we decide in the future with the build program. So right now the build program is in flux. The builders know that it's there till December 31st. and there's no guarantees after that, and it'll be up to us to decide whether we eliminate, amend, or continue the current program how we see fit. So that was my concern.
Any other questions, comments, budget-wise? Yes.
Yeah, it's just an overall general consensus. I think our budgets have been getting better year by year. I like this budget. Obviously, there's some things in it we don't like. Obviously, we have to take some responsibilities for things that have been ignored for years, decades, like Countryside, and that's going to hurt today, and nobody wants to do it, and I understand that, but as a council, we have a responsibility to take care of these issues, and they've been kicked down the road long enough. It's something that we don't want to do, but we have to do because Countryside is in a sad state of disrepair. So overall, I think it's a good budget. Just because things are budgeted, I just want to clarify that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to vote for those things, like continuing with the Visitors Bureau or how much money we're going to give to the YEDC or things of that nature. We budget for those contingencies, but we still have to vote on them, and I just want to make that perfectly clear, because I'm voting for the budget doesn't necessarily mean I support everything that's coming down the road towards us. So I will be voting aye for the budget, and I hope to continue our conservative budgeting that we have been doing for the last 5 years. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Will the impact of the LGDF potential dip next year, I know this is all speculation at this point, but does it make any sense to kind of hope that some of the unfunded mandates that they're kind of going to be looking at this year, do you think that will reach $800,000?
Oh, that's a tough question.
That's why I asked it. I'm a taxpayer.
I can see. I don't think so immediately. The things that have been thrown out as part of the turnaround agenda and government reforms seem to be like they're more long-term. So I'm going to guess that whatever ends up occurring is not going to have much of an impact on our shortfall side in the interim. But, over the next couple decades, probably, the idea being that it's a little cheaper for us to operate. Hopefully the state is a little bit more prosperous so that we're made whole on the back end. So we'll see.
Good answer, Bart.
Thanks.
Roll call, please.
Spears.
Aye.
Colosimo.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Teeling. Cook.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Readers.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I will entertain a motion to approve an ordinance amending the termination date of the motor vehicle tax and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Colosimo.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Teeling. Cook.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Readers.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Entertain a motion to approve an ordinance amending the infrastructure maintenance fee for water and sanitary sewer service and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Funkhauser.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Teeling. Cook.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Readers.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Colosimo.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve an ordinance amending the water service rates and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Teeling. Cook.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Readers.
Aye.
Spears.
Aye.
Colosimo.
Aye.
Funkhauser.
Man, you guys are good. Additional business, do we have any additional business? Yes, sir.
I just want to mention that our friend Jared there at the median table plays a mean violin this weekend at the Wizard of Oz musical. I didn't know he was multi-talented. So great job this weekend at the Wizard of Oz.
Appreciate it.
Our last WSPY reporter was a vocalist, not a
Yeah.
violinist. Huh, very
I
nice.
was a barber shop too, so I'm on my way around the court.
Wow.
So,
We might have to have the fiddle come in for a future city council meeting.
Ribbit.
little devil in town in
Of course.
maybe Orange Boston special.
There you go.
Tony, do you have any hidden talents? Any other additional business? I do have one item, I would like some, I should have done something, now I need their help. But if you guys should spread the word, anyone on the council knows anyone, we have a lot of openings on boards and commissions. ZBA has at least one more opening, Park Board, Library Board, Plan Commission, there's some things coming up. So if anyone wants to get applications in for any position, just get them into me. We'll probably be making appointments in the next meeting. So. Okay, other than that, no other additional business, we will adjourn to executive session for litigation and personnel. What's up, sir?